Well, my Ross and Rachel on-again, off-again relationship with It, Welcome to Derry hits another climactic point when we have episode 7 coming out and it being an absolute banger of a time. I've had some pretty high highs with the show and some very low lows. Overall, though, it's been entertaining enough to keep me interested, and thankfully, episode 7 delivers on some of the horror stuff I've been waiting for. Every single week, I've been recapping It, Welcome to Derry, giving you the pros and the cons of the episode. Today's no different. I'm going to go into the spoilers in just a second. If you find yourself enjoying the conversation, feel free to sub to the show, Adam Does Movies, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. That way you can catch up on the past episodes, and you'll be prepared for the future ones to come. All right, let's get into it. It, Welcome to Derry. And we start with another snapshot in time. This one bringing us all the way back to 1908. Skiddy-dee-dee, skiddy-dee-dee, skiddy-dee-dee. And this episode's going to feature by far the most Pennywise / Bill Skarsgård we've seen yet, and probably the most we're going to see with this season. We start out watching as he performs on stage for a bunch of little kids. Now, this is not Pennywise. This is Bob Kirsch, I think his name is. I'm not sure, but he's a man. He's just a regular dude. And off behind the stage, his daughter Ingrid watches in amazement, pulling some levers, helping out with the production. The kids are eating this up. They absolutely love this clown character, Pennywise. And I have to tell you, the opening presentation he does, where he fights off a pesky gopher who's stealing flowers, and then he loses his loved one, has one final dance with her, and then the gopher hands him a flower as a token of remembrance and sympathy. That was the most emotion I got from this show yet. I was impressed with this little storyline that he showcased, which is both a testament to the writing here and kind of a negative towards the writing overall, because I'm not feeling an attachment to many of the characters outside of Little Will and his family. They're pretty good. Everybody else, though, is just kind of, I don't care at all about Lily. I think she's weaker in the acting department too. We're then going to see Ingrid fully decked out in clown attire, wanting to take up the mantle of her mother. Bob even gives Ingrid her mom's stage name. I should point out, when I am recapping the episode, I'm going off of memory. I'm going to get things wrong. Things will be out of order. Really, this is just my initial reaction to watching the show and having a small conversation about it. All right, so after this, after everybody's in high spirits, naturally something terrible has to happen. I just used my computer machine off camera and looked up the name of Pennywise, and his name is actually Bob Gray, not Bob Kirsch. 1,000 apologies. I wanted to make sure I got that right, because I've had a few mistakes on this show, another one being the Juke Joint. I thought it seemed very conveniently timed with the release of Sinners earlier this year that they kind of did the same thing, but it is in the book. So if anyone copied anyone, it's Sinners taking inspiration from what Stephen King did. All that aside, we're still with Bob. He's having a drink outside at night. A young boy comes out from the woods looking a little off, and he tells our clown Prince that he lost his parents. Nothing about this story's convincing, but then Bob hears off in the distance some woman screaming, and that gets his attention. So he takes the boy's hand, and they both walk off into the woods together. I was really hoping the entire episode was going to be on this storyline, the history of Pennywise, how he came to be, but this is sadly probably all we're going to get, and we can use our imagination as to what happens next. There is also a note when It, as a kid, is talking to Bob. He mentions how the kids love Pennywise, and so that gives him obviously his idea to become the clown more often than not. All right, we're now saddled up with the posse outside the Juke Joint, and they're ready to bust up shop. So they head in there, guns at the ready, I guess forgetting that a lot of these guys are in the army, and they also have their own guns. So we have ourselves a good old-fashioned Mexican standoff. They're there for Hanlon. At least that's what they're saying. They really don't care, though. They just want to kill all of these people because they're a bunch of racist assholes in a town that's very much being corrupted and fueled with hate, thanks to It being in the vicinity. So they do arguably something much worse. They leave the establishment, light up some Molotovs, and toss them through the windows. This causes a massive fire to break out, killing almost everyone inside. And we spend a good chunk of time in this section of the show as CGI flames are surrounding everyone. It's very green screen heavy. It doesn't look the most convincing, but it is very entertaining. Now, I'm not going to nitpick this to death. I easily could. There is no chance in hell anyone is staying on their feet for more than a few minutes, because that smoke in that small area is going to choke everyone's lungs out and they're going to be on the floor dead as a doorknob. But for some reason, everybody's just kind of wandering around. Barely anybody's coughing during this. No one's really crawling on the ground to stay low as you're supposed to. And our boy Dick is seeing a lot of visions still. He sees a ghost Indian who's going to show him how to get out of here through a little trap door in the floor. He gathers as many kids up as he can. They make their way down there, but unfortunately 2 of them are left behind. And that's One-Eyed Margie and Rich. Yeah, our 2 lovebirds are in a lot of trouble because the rubble came down, trapping them into the main area. And the only way to get out now is for Rich to decide, in his infinite wisdom, to open up a little cooler, shove Marge's ass inside, close it, and lay on top, keeping her safe somehow, but risking his whole life in the process. I could dick pick this if I wanted to. I guess I kind of will. There's no chance in hell she's surviving in that tiny little cooler that has lost all oxygen at this point, but I digress. He sits on top of this thing. What could have been a pretty touching, sad moment for me, I feel very little, I'm a monster and dead inside, really didn't work because he doesn't shut the fuck up. He's talking ad nauseum about this and how, he loves her and she loves him, and Barney's there singing I love you too. And eventually he shuts the fuck up because he dies. But my God, this goes on way too long. While this is happening, Pennywise shows up. He's sauntering around the place. He sees a lady, starts eating her face off. It's pretty brutal and really awesome. I don't know why he's Pennywise right now. He hasn't been Pennywise for most of the show, and these adults don't know who he is, but it's fine. He likes being the clown right now, I guess. After this horrific scene plays out, we see Pennywise outside, now with his daughter. Obviously, it's not his daughter. He's just in disguise as her father. She's completely off her rocker, batshit insane. Ingrid, rocking clown face, goes and embraces her papa, or at least who she thinks he is, gives him a big old bear hug, and he's like, I got to go away now. I'll see you again in 27 years, darling. Bye. And she's like, you asshole. You're not my father, you piece of crap. Where is he? Like, now it's just dawning upon him, even though she saw him eating a person's head just a second ago. He turns around like, bitch, are you serious right now? And that's gonna do it for Ingrid. He kills her ass via the deadlights. There, now you can see her father, you dumbass. So you're thinking to yourself, well, this has got to be winding down now. Season's over. It's going into hibernation. What's left for them to do? Hibernation, short for hibernation, of course. Well, we got to get the government involved again. See, it turns out the army was never actually interested in finding those 12 artifacts, pushing them inward and closing it into a tiny little cell. They actually want to do the opposite. They find one of the artifacts, thanks to Dick, forcing him at this point. They remove it and destroy the thing, opening the door for Pennywise to roam free across the world now. No more chains on him. Why are they doing this? Well, for a really dumbass reason. The general says, why leave it terrorizing America when we can send this weapon of mass destruction across the globe? Oh, okay. I guess that's a reason. And that's where we leave things. The final shot is going to be our Bill Skarsgård in a pool of blood, arms and body parts floating around him. It's very disturbing and cool to see. His eyes pop back open. He's like, guess who's back? Back again. It is back. Tell your friends, it is back. It is back. Na, 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 na. I would say that was the best episode of the season by far. A lot of stuff came to a head here. I don't think the emotional moments worked outside of the beginning where, Bob is paying tribute to his dead wife, his partner. Everything else was just entertaining from a superficial standpoint. Again, if you want to nitpick, none of the stuff inside of the fire made a whole lot of sense. Nobody's skin's like melting off or anything. Whatever. It's a TV series. I'm willing to forgive and forget. The horror aspect worked. It was very nice seeing Pennywise in a lot of this episode. It's what I've been missing from most of the season. I know it takes many forms and it doesn't have to be the clown, but the clown is really the only interesting thing. And it's because of the performance and the way he communicates. I'm not saying it can't work with other things, but none of it's really stuck so far. The little boy that came out of the woods is the closest they got to, I think, really nailing down what makes it such a fun, cool, creepy villain. All right, I want to hear from you, though. Did you enjoy the episode as much as I did? Let me know in the comments. Please, again, think of subbing to the show. Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I really hope this keeps the momentum now going forward into the final episode or two, because almost every time we get a really high episode, we go really low with the next one. Let's keep some momentum going forward. And hopefully, I see you next time. Take care. Hey, thanks for watching the video and sticking around to the end. If you enjoy what I do here, maybe think of becoming a patron at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. It would be a perfect time to join too, because I'm having a 30% off Cyber Monday through wherever I decide to take it. Join right now and you get that awesome benefit like these folks over here. And again, if you strike while the iron's hot, the discount will be applied. All right, hopefully I see you next time. Take care.